Member is expected to appear before a court today. Reverend Member, founder and leader of the glorious World Power Ministries International, is in custody of the Ghana Police Service for creating multiple videos containing threats, the brandishing of a weapon, and the assault of some police personnel. According to a widely circulated circular by the Ghana Police Service, Reverend Member was arrested together with 3 other suspects. On Sunday, September 3rd, now September 12th, at his church premises. Now, the police indicated that 2 other suspects are currently on the run, and the police are pursuing them. The police explained that Reverend Member and the 3 others were being detained for further investigation over the creation and circulation of multiple videos containing threats, the brandishing of a weapon, and the assault of some personnel. Police personnel, of course. Now, after critically analyzing the said videos and based on intelligence gathered, the police embarked on an operation on Sunday, September 12, 2021, at the premises of the church to arrest the suspects. Now, interestingly, what happened then? The police statement further said, during the operation, some members of the church believed to have been under the direction of Reverend Member assaulted some police officers. The Indian personnel have received medical treatment and are responding to treatment. The subjects are currently in the custody of the police and will appear before the court on Monday, September 13. Reverend Member, together with some of his junior pastors, stormed the residence of convicted priestess Nana Agrada on Thursday, September 9, 2021. The man of God and his boys claimed Nana Agrada are credited pounds of Reverend Member wherever she meets him. So the best way to make this attack, to use an attack first. Okay. Now, so the man of God decided not to use for Nana Agrada for her to carry out a restraint. But we'll be bringing more on that. He is the president's personal, spiritual father or whatever he is there. But as whether that will not let what justice take place or not is another question that people are asking. It isn't just some rapid thing that is going on or what. We'll be seeing more about that. But at the moment, I have the point that Mr. Olayomi, who is online, but we cannot see him. But I don't know where he is. We'll go on. But let me say, Yomi, good morning to you.
Spiritual, is a father or spiritual, personal prophet, the president's prophet. Okay, so every leader has got their prophet. So the president's prophet. Okay, we'll see what happens on that front. It is Starr Radio UK. Whilst we wait for Mr. Olayomi to come on, let's look at some of the other stories. Whilst we wait for Mr. Olayomi, my apologies for that. Okay. So, going straight to some of the stories making the rounds here. Okay, let me look at some others that is making the rounds in Nigeria as well. Buhari Southeast visit should afford opportunity to support region's aspiration. What kind of region's aspiration are we talking about here? So last Thursday, the president visited the Southeast. Okay, but out of that visit, some a senator, Ebenezer Ekeyina, former lawmaker who represented a number of central at the center, has said that, okay, represented a number of central at the Senate, my apologies, has said that it is hopeful that the visit of President Muhammadu Buhari to Imo State, one of the states in the southeast region, should afford him the opportunity to see firsthand the level of neglect and marginalization of the region and support his aspiration to take a shot at the presidency in 2023. The lawmaker who spoke to Daily Independent said that it is not as if the region is asking for something special from the government of President Muhammadu Buhari. Rather, the people of the region are only asking that they be given what is due them. He said, it is very clear to everyone that the southeast region is neglected, and even the blind can feel it. Wow, so if the blind can feel it, then you know. We know that everyone is concerned about the insecurity in the country. I must add that it is good for the government to consider giving everyone a sense of belonging. When people are not happy, it has the capacity to generate all kinds of animosity, including the clamor for cessation. He said, I am 100% advocate of a united one Nigeria, but it can only be achieved in an atmosphere of justice and peace. It is already UK. What we still wait for Mr. Olayomi,
he can hear us. Okay. Look, Yomi.
Yeah, I can hear you. Very good morning, Mr. Archie.
Good morning. But we cannot see you.
Okay, we work on that while we continue with the broadcast. I'll see. I'm not sure why, but let's see.
Okay. So while we try to see whether we can see Mr. Olayomi pointing. We can hear him, but try to see if we can see him. Let's look at these statements that. Oh, okay. Now we can see him. Now we can see you. We can see you. We can see Mr. Olayomi now. And let me say a massive good morning to you.
A very good morning to you, Mr. Archie. Good morning to all our viewers from around the globe, and welcome to the 13th of September 2021, 60 minutes past the hour, and it is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. It is the morning show, and the weeks have just begun with so many updates and news coming out of Nigeria this morning. I welcome you all as you're settling into the broadcast.
Yes, and let me take this opportunity to also welcome Anthony and Energy. I was giving a thumbs up for the broadcast this morning. How was the trip to Liverpool?
Yes, sorry we couldn't join the studio because we were literally heading out to Liverpool, and it was a 5 hours journey because we did travel by coach, and the reason for that is we'll be explaining that in the due course of this program because when you go on the coach, there's quite a lot of excitement. It's a long journey, but it was a successful outing. I'll be giving a little bit more on that as well. It's all about the arms trade fair that is coming up in Liverpool, but it seems the Liverpools do not want that event to take place in Liverpool, and that was the reason why that event eventually went ahead in Liverpool on Saturday, the 11th of September. The outing was very, very powerful, and likewise, the Yorubas also used that opportunity to join those protests. That was also the reason why we traveled down there, because as we know, there's quite a lot of eventualities happening in Nigeria and so many development, especially with the killings as well. So it was a very beautiful outing. We returned back on a Saturday after the outing, again another 5 hours, and we were able to show that these are the kind of journeys that you make without thinking of being kidnapped by a terrorist in Nigeria, or without being thinking of a kind of incident. Yes, accident does happen in UK, there's no doubt about it, but I can say throughout the journey, we hardly had anyone on the coach that prayed for us. You could have done that because that is your own personal instinct as an individual, but if you were traveling in that same capacity in Nigeria, right from the motor park, there will have been quite a lot of prayers And some of those prayers now include terrorists should not kidnap us as we're heading out from the motor park.
Okay. Welcome back. Let me let you know. But if you were traveling in the city, okay, Tosin. Is it Tosin? Yeah. Tosin says welcome back. As Lion, brings a demand job is to prepare them. Time was believe me, if you are a citizen of this lost kingdom called Nigeria, you are only living a chance. The country is on a red code. Well, it's another red code. I thought Mr. Frank David as well will be very busy this morning in the house. And let me say, Frank, good morning to you.
Archie, good morning to our listeners, good morning to our viewers, good morning.
Good morning, Frank.
Each and everyone listening to us.
How are you?
Archie, I'm doing very well. Had a weekend. I did a lot of busy work in the kitchen. With some chef and some fried yam.
Well, when you talk about yam, now you want to create another kind of a. When you talk about yam, is it the Ghanaian yam or the Nigerian yam, as it might want to be called?
No, that's
Because we do know that most of the export of yam end up in Ghana to UK, even though most of them are meant to be coming from Benue State, which we know is meant to be the food basket of Nigeria. But the terrorists have actually taken over those axes. Let's come back.
This is Ghanaian.
Okay.
I was talking about that market is controlled by the Indians. Which is very unfortunate. We've lost everything to some of this. Again, my bad. My phone, forgive me, my bad. My phone is actually ringing.
Okay, yeah, so okay. So listeners, Mr. Frank Davis for you as well, and we are here this morning to have a nice chat and look at some of the stories making the rounds. But before I go to Yomi for some of the updates there, just stop mentioning that name. Until it is dissolved, until it's no more, with some incident is right, okay, and it's accepted in the US, right? Okay, so we have the right to mention it until they said, okay, you cannot mention that name again. It's been extinct. So just bear with that. For the sake of referring to that geographical area that is around West Africa, yeah, that would work.
Let's say this. Until that country is officially dissolved and organized, we will continue to refer to it as Nigeria.
Yeah.
I mean, the reason being that if we begin to say, okay, a country must be, or we might call Yoruba land, Ikiti land, or whatever land. And Yoruba might also form a nation there before you realize Yoruba West land, Yoruba North land. So, yes, we understand what you're saying. The fight that this is our land, Amazonia will be saying South Sudan will call it for it. I don't call us Sudan, they are South Sudan. So we continue to acknowledge that officially we know that entity, that entity as Nigeria. Nigeria.
Okay. So, as Frank said, that is why until it's been resolved, even that what we are referring to in the past, we can still say, remember that country known as Nigeria, that was dissolved, but we hope that doesn't get to that place. That's why we think that the presidency or the leadership of the country will have to actually set up and make sure that they do the right thing. Okay. Let's now go back to Yomi for some of the updates. Now, the first one, that is quite worrying. Southern Kaduna clergy Reverend Silas Ashley has been threatened by suspected terrorist expert. Now, the ECWA pastor was found butchered, and his body is buried by the terrorists. Now, where exactly did it take place? Was it in his church auditorium, or in his residence, or on his way, or just in the town anywhere? Can you give us a bit of a background to that?
Well, yeah, just as so many Nigerians wake up, with quite a lot of news of such. I mean, it's not the first time that we've seen killings of clergies, reverend in Nigeria, and yes, especially the governor of Kaduna State is now also asking a lot of the citizens, to allow, the security operatives and the tension not to also spill over as well. I mean, we've talked about killings in Nigeria, but when you talk about this particular one, it's not the first and it won't be the last. But what we can say is, yes, this killing took place in Kaduna State where the cleric was killed. But what we can say is, the ECW confirmed Pastor Silas Ali in Kaduna, that was killed by the terrorists. He is for those that might not understand what the ECW means, is the Evangelical Church Winning All. Also, the shorten is ECW, as confirmed of the mother of the Reverend Silas Yakubu Ali. On Sunday, the ECW Zonal District Church Council sent a message to all the branches. The deceased was a senior pastor of the Evangelical Church Winning All in Kibori and formerly a DCC Assistant Secretary. Ali was gruesomely killed on Saturday, which is on the 11th of September 2021 in Zango, with the Zango Katafa local government area. The cleric had just left for Kafancha and was incommunicado shortly after a group of worshippers and villagers set out to look for him. Just as this happened all the time when people set out on a journey. Remember last week, 18 individuals were kidnapped as they were heading into Akoko in Ondo State as well. As we speak right now, we don't have any information about those 18 individuals right now. I mean, I was looking at my traveling to Liverpool, which I'm just trying to bring into this conversation. I think at some point there were about almost similar to that number of us on the coach. And while I was speaking to all our listeners that were following us on the trip, on the broadcast, I said, imagine 18 of us in this coach were kidnapped and then we're demanding ransom, and then people are looking for pound sterling from wherever to rescue myself and the rest of us. This is the kind of journey that people go through. So the group of worshippers that set out to look for him now found the body early Sunday morning somewhere in Kibori near Ashua Ausu. The church leadership and Ali's family will announce the burial arrangement later.
Now, interestingly, my question here is that now the governor or the state authorities are saying that people should calm down. Now, people are looking at the surge in kidnappings and killings of that sort, and the insecurity or the security agents not being able to protect them. And if something like this happens, then people are really upset and think they got to rise up and do something about it, and they tell them not to do so. I mean, which people, is it the church members, the church folks, or the whole of that country now calling the state or the community that this man comes from?
Well, I mean, the governor is speaking directly to the whole state, to be a bit patient. But like I said, this is the kind of message of peace. The state government has expressed sadness, informed the public that an investigation is ongoing. Remember that the same thing has happened. The late brother of Omoyedisho Regide that has also been buried. He was also killed by the terrorists in Edo State. As at last night, while I was still settling back into the home, I received a call from Kogi State where the news that I've just broken, that news was actually breaking when the resident, the individual that called me from Kogi State witnessed of a killing of a security operatives, attached to a Chinese citizen that is probably doing a business in Kogi State that has not been kidnapped, but the security operative was killed. So I'm now bringing it from Kaduna back to Edo State, back to the south of the country where 18 were kidnapped. We don't know where they are. Yesterday again in Kogi State. So these are daily occurrence, and I can always say, in as much as this is happening, the president says they're on top of the game. But I'll have a video which is just about 30 seconds. Let us hear what Wike said, because remember, one of the governors of the state, this is about 30 seconds video. We're going to hear the voice of it. Remember, one of the governor travel down to meet the president, and this is what response Wiki has to give back to that.
Saying that he believes Nigeria gives another president like Buhari. I said, come. What has gone wrong? I mean, you mean there shouldn't be psychiatric check on that governor? You see, circumstances. And you know the president knows that you're telling lies.
And that is where it makes me laugh that even though this Wike is the governor of Rivers State, he's not telling that state governor that he knows that the president knows he's telling lies.
With the president has been at the telling lies, that is another thing that is saying that well, everything is going all right. People are crying, saying no, they are laughing, they are smiling. It's just a joy that you're thinking. Well, Minister Radio UK. Casino says no good news from Zoological Republic of Nigeria. It's not qualifying it. Now killing every day in the Zoological Republic of Nigeria. We hope that something somehow stops. But as when that is another person making the rounds there in Nigeria. But let's go back to Yomi for some of the other stories. Right now, 11:30. Over to you, Yomi.
Thank you very much, Mr. Archie, and a good morning again to all our viewers from different parts of the globe that have joined us this morning. As usual, we'd like to say thank you very much for staying tuned with the morning show as the week have just start. Let's go straight into some of the other headlines. VAT, the value-added tax, is still generating a lot of controversy, a lot of conversation in Nigeria. 5 northern states, 2 southwest, 2 south among the top beneficiaries. That is coming from the headline as well this morning. Mother faints as Lagos Sergeant Police Officer. This was also happening in Surulere, southwest in Lagos State on Saturday. Kills an 18-year-old admission seeker. That is also coming up from the headline this morning. I've watched the video. It's quite a little bit painful to see parents going through some of these. I mean, by next month, October 20, will be exactly 1 year that the NSAS killing over 100 Nigerians were murdered, in cold blood by the Nigerian security. Even
let me see whether
yeah,
on now.
I
Hello,
think
Yomi?
yeah. Can you hear me now?
We
Yeah.
missed a bit of.
Yes. What I was saying is this 18-year-old that was killed by a police sergeant on Saturday is just almost similar to so many Nigerians being killed. I was talking about in the next couple of weeks, which is just October 20, they will be celebrating or looking to review what happened at the Lekki massacre, where more than 100 Nigerians holding the Nigerian flag, singing the Nigerian anthem, were killed, on that fateful day. Likewise, we saw 3rd of July when, the also killing of Jumoke Oyeleke during the Lagos State mega rally as well that took place. So these are part of the situation as well. Sit at home. We must not jeopardize our children's waheck. Abia State government wants. I think that is reflecting to the situation of the sit down at home order given by the IPOB. In terms of the holding on to Mazina Bekano, by the DSS. Also, we know that 9 out of those 11 that were kept inside Oyo prison since last year have not been released. So we're using again this opportunity to speak directly to the Oyo State Governor Sheyi Makinde to release these innocent Nigerians that have been kept in the prison since last year of the NSAS protests that went ahead in different parts of the state. Lagos DPO is missing pistol. Police release a lady, remove officer over that as well. 75 people that were adopted in Zamfara pupils have now regained their freedom. Nigeria seems to have lost 247.61 billion naira in the 100 days of the Twitter ban. So you could see the impact of the Twitter ban by the federal government, because Twitter was able to remove the conversation of the presidency and that also put Twitter between a big of a challenge. Like Mohammed, flew into America trying to see if he can resolve the problem, but again, there was a kind of a lot of lies that came back of it, and that has not eventually happened. So Twitter currently is still banned as we speak in Nigeria. Strike continues, according to NAMAD. It says after meeting with the Nigerian Medical Association. This is quite interesting because I was also seeing the picture of the president meeting with some of these associations, and the question that was ringing at the back of my mind is: this is the same president that spent almost 17 days here on a medical trip as well. Why is there still ongoing strike? The leadership of the Nigerian Medical Association, as of yesterday, met with the leaders of the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors as part of efforts aimed at ending the resident doctors' lingering strike, according to the news that we are getting. The meeting was held barely 48 hours after, those leadership of the Nigerian Medical Association met with the president, Major General Muhammadu Buhari, at the presidential villa in Abuja. At the meeting, Buhari had urged the striking health workers to return to their duty post and appeal to others, on that strike to opt for a settlement of issues by negotiating, no matter how long it will take. But it doesn't seem that it's going to happen at the moment, and the strike still continue. This is still Star Radio UK. I'll come back again to you in the studio. It's exactly 11:35 a.m.
Yes, listeners, Mr. Olayomi is bringing you up things from Nigeria. Let me say morning to Dot Break, wherever you are. Hope you are doing well. And just even now, says actually the where we need international attention. That they come to front because at times we sit and little, 2, 3, 4, 10, and then at one point that the international community right up to say no. What is happening now is getting to a place where we have to step into it.
Archie, first we must, because of time, I'm going to make a best snap. We first must understand Nigeria is now is a sovereign state, and therefore any interference or any outside comment, other comments and other things, then we can do it. But what the international community has built over the years, and by this, I think the UN has moved through the world, is over the years they have witnessed certain developmental networks. They've witnessed agitations that might lead to killing of people. Genocide and other. They have still moved to develop a kind of a benchmark that look, if we have ABC,
this tells us science.
This tells us science. It's something that the whole world needs to be aware of. It's something. I mean, take this pandemic. We know when it gets to ABC, some schools are treated. One even security, they tell you severe, moderate, and other things. I think we need to develop some structure to govern or to help with whatever happens. Because you have something that is happening in Nigeria now. You have it happening in other countries. But you hardly will hear someone talking about it. Either because they don't have a clear definition of what is happening. What do you speak to? You speak to people who are reporting citizen journalists, or you listen to official communication that is coming. Lion Mohammed moved to Nigeria, moved to US, paid to be interviewed by CNN, to host CNN and other news items, where he version that makes what is happening quite differently from the reality on the ground. I get you. That if you actually someone listens to it, where are you going to be? Whose account are you going to take independently? But if we can have a enthusiastic and citizen can be able to that ABC is happening, and all of a sudden you know that if ABC is happening, you will qualify to be. You take economics. As we speak, the Ghana economy has been classified as being ranked as B3. Okay, alright, as B3, which is worse than B negative, worse than B1 and all those things. Now, why become more difficult? We tell us that when your debt level is this way, when you look at disabilities, when your disabilities, and when your investors appetite for risk analysis and other difficulties, you automatically plug yourself in. Not they plug it, you plug yourself into that particular category, this category, and then when they refer to it like that, if you're able to do A, B, C, D, you can plug yourself out to different. It's just like normal credit. I take a credit card on me. If you go to one room, I plug myself into CCA. If you go to a point level, I plug myself into what they call it, bankruptcy. If I do A, B, C, D, this CCS, I'm going to come out of CCA and others. So I think we need to develop something like a benchmark. If we do that, the problem can begin to fix country, and then we can then begin to see a bit of noise that major noise coming. But for now, while it goes, raise a palm of, shake a palm of Johnson, tell them everything that they want. This is they do not have time, some of them. People who bring this up to have a world that on down. And Danish for instance, they have a text for Nigeria. They have a permanent text for Nigeria. What is that permanent text telling them? Who actually represented that person? Who is that permanent text person talking to? He's speaking to the embassy. And what is the embassy talking to them about? What is the embassy communicating to them? So there's a two-way street. There's a highway that ordinary people are on knowing everything that is on, and there's a tunnel street where only a few who think. I mean, that's why government since we came to power, the economy is in. Why? Because the people around them who communicate with them and follow you, they are cloning family members and that. Their economies have transformed. From what it used to be at the West now where they can now afford to really do. So if you are on a high street and you tell them that look, the shops are closing, so forget it. We don't know the shops are closing because we order online. So we need to be able to get that. If not, it's going to. But for now, citizens will need the tools are there. Citizen journalism is becoming one of the big source of information from the big stream media. So each and everyone has a responsibility now to report it from their community. You do not expect to land in problem and then come and report when something is happening. Fulanis, or probably the terrorists have invaded your. No, because they are not saying Fulanis are terrorists. Please don't please. I mean, Fulani is something that they might have invaded the community. Who knows? Nigerian network might not know, AIT might not know, but you as an individual within your community, thank God for technology. Now have a mobile phone, you have WhatsApp and everything. Do not sleep. Just also do your bit. If you really want what is happening in your community. Okay. Listeners, there's a lot of comments that we posted there, but I will leave some of them. I don't want to get into that banter. But Olayomi just says bandits from other African countries are now all over in southern Nigeria, stopping vehicles, kidnapping travelers. The military are clearly protecting some, yet some will tell us there is one Nigeria. How? Okay, that's a comment that has come in. And the other part, just I know how you are pretending to this thing that has been good. But well, we're doing it's better to join rather than to go, and therefore we are covering that. But let me ask for one question. Well, we have you here in the UK. We have our correspondent back in Nigeria, various communities, and they bring out information, and then we look at apart from the one that I directly sent to you. But the question is, do you think you're having a fair reportage of what is going on? Because like Frank is saying, it looks, because we are not on the ground per se, so it's what we hear that is spreading and has been killed in Kaduna. I mean, so we just know yesterday it was only this is coming public called I mean, for every high profile that and I can guarantee there are about 20 of innocent underreported cases that are going on that we don't hear about. So the question I was going to pose to you,
yeah, you're quite right. And I'm just looking at the AFP news agency just 8 minutes ago. I've also updated Nigerian government have freed dozens of the school children that we were just discussing right now. This month in the Northwest Zamfara State, according to the local government source and the video showing state officials. So yes, like Frank says, in every killings of the high profile. I mean, when you look at the killing of the brother of Omoyele Sowore, that is more of a very, very high profile. But I can tell you, hundreds of similar cases has happened in that particular axis where he was killed, but probably doesn't get to the news as well. I was talking about the Kogi State earlier on. The news have just literally been picking it now. I'm looking at these are the major newspaper in Nigeria. 2 soldiers have reportedly been killed in an attack in Kaba Coronation Center in Kogi State. I mean, I picked up this news at the very, very late, almost before midnight yesterday. But again, because it's citizen reporting, and because there's no way in the media we get that news, and sometimes when we put it out, like Mohammed might say it's a fake news, but I'm sure by the time the news become a reality, that cannot be hidden under the carpet. So news is underreported. There's no doubt about that in Nigeria. Doesn't mean that the papers or the mainstream media in Nigeria are not reporting it, but sometimes they are also being very careful because of the the government coming on them heavily, by reporting some of these. But when there's no other option, then this news get out as well,
Well, listeners, some updates there for sure. But let's quickly look at the president's visit last Thursday to the Imo State. Can you give us a bit of what happened there? Because actually there was a sit down. He said that only 2 people were not out. How was the whole thing? Have you got any videos of it? And what do you perceive had gone on?
Well, the president, visit to Imo State generated a lot of different conversation, and some of those conversation started with his outfit. What the president was putting on seems to be generating a lot of conversation. By people asking whether the tailor that put on the outfit on the president did not get the measurement properly. And then also, the shoe that the president was wearing. But again, let's now go back again. Buhari did comment on the future invitation to Imo State was a misquote according to presidency. I mean, why is that a misquote? Is it that the president, might be going into what we call demential, or is it just that the president, spoke out of whatever he must have saw without maybe with the sit down at all? Because there's no way a president will be coming in, you will notice that the town is either a ghost or is bubbling. So let's look at that particular conversation that is also generating. The presidency on Sunday yesterday have cleared the air on the varying interpretation drawn from the concluding remarks of the president, Major General Muhammadu Buhari, during his visit to Imo State last Thursday. According to Femi Adesina, that is the media and publicity for the president, explained this in a statement titled Presidency, what President Buhari said, didn't say in Imo State. According to Adesina, pages of misinformation have deliberately quoted the president's speech out of context. The statement read, "We have observed that President Muhammadu Buhari concluding remark at the meeting with the Southeast leader during his one-day visit to Imo State is being deliberately twisted out of context." According to this information, went Nigerians to believe that the president bluntly told the governor, Uzodinma, "I will be careful with your future invitation." They have adduced different meaning to the phrase, contrary to the context wherein the president spoke during a successful dialogue. So you can see that the presidency also follows what is happening on the social media, the engagement with millions of Nigerians around the world, because what the president said is probably what he meant. But as you can see, the media publicity must also come out to retwist it back again.
Interesting. I had some comments, some other comments that have been made relating to the president's visit. Some were saying that he will actually, see things really, what is going on in the southeast of the country, and the fact that you know that they've shortchanged them and said that people are not asking for anything extraordinary. All that they are asking is for a fair treatment.
Actually, I don't think that works because most of these people, I'm talking about some of these presidents, when they visit in place, it's a coronation kind of movement that or someone traveling umbrella, right? Flanked by high-powered motor vehicles. Get to a point where he's been ushered in, controlled. The movement are being controlled, and most of the time they use for security powerful and have voice where the president are now able to control what you see. We've seen situation where the leader was to visit an area. Within 2 days, people would read this. And I wouldn't be surprised that even when the president was with them, the poor clothes that might be swelling, Olayomi, what do you call it? Mohammed, and all the others. And others, but before the president is there, they will have to grapple and level it up. So in trouble, he doesn't see it. He comes back, let them begin, let's say them down for what is the meeting now? Let them begin. The president said, but this one, they are not fair. I was just there. There wasn't anything wrong. We didn't feel it. Are you getting me? So some of these things, they do not see anything when they are doing it. That is why for people my age, like Jerry, although people might argue about way, there are stories being told where private either unannounced gets in the car himself and drive down. The issue about what they call this Kaya issue of sleeping in that is something that was worrying him, and he got to do that himself because he will get in the car and drive around to you. And then begin to ask questions, people still sleeping on the street like that at night. Are you getting me? You're not selling. Those are the days where, I mean, you call and ask that, look, why is this still there? Why is this? But we know people control their movement. So if going coming, never, he's not going to see it. He's never going to see it. They want to make sure that he goes to the places where everything is okay. How many government stories that go find with place somewhere? The DC Marshall agree that they went, therefore they meanwhile, also the person supposed to, they are hypocrites, okay? Majority of their policies are hypocrites. Most of us, participants, are hypocrites. We do not speak the truth, we do not tell our leaders the truth. Are you getting me? If you want to speak the truth, tell them the honesty that you have. They tell you, no, you're mad. You basically are against us. You see people who might be exposing the reality of the man as our stand. We shouldn't be the case. In this country, see what happened, the MPs plays a role. Because their constituents report this to them directly. And based on the pay their constituents be able to see what is happening. The question then asks is, if you are an opposition member and you go to a Nigerian House of Representatives, to tell them that, look, our land have just been destroyed. Crops, farmers in my area have just lost their land. Cattle areas have destroyed their cassava. How will you tell you are this? You are lying. You are lying, you are opposition. Are you getting it? One of the last time I went down when I look up that, to go and view an area view of 8, I don't think people are complaining that the herdsmen have destroyed our crops. When the last time is told the what they call the chief of staff, let's just take an area view of the place to find out ourselves what is happening. And if if it is his mother, his brother, his sister that has spent time, money, and people destroy it over that. That's the distraction. So, I mean, if this is there for me, it's like a coronation movement. President has visit here and other so that schools people can come and have something. But if you are not the thing, it doesn't. So, I mean, I just they go to President Kufado went 2-3 years ago in a voter regime when some of the people that were strong, he told them they were going to start immediately. Actually, yesterday I was sending pictures of their trenches, not bottles, trenches on that road. Oh my goodness, African leaders. Well, it is now ready to carry your favorite African radio station in London, update from Nigeria. 6 minutes to the top of the hour at a time. We'll be going back to Mr. Olayomi KOIKIMEDIA. Just, it was a lots of comments. He said, we need referendum. Nigeria is a scam country that just simple. He said society guns commission road. African politicians are nothing but thieves. That's what they do with them.
Well, let's go back to Yomi. You'll be telling us about the Liverpool, the participation and other stories and social media, what is happening there, and then we can bring that up into close because we know that we are pressed with time. Over to you.
Yes, sir. We just go straight to activities. It was a very busy one in Liverpool, like you did talked about it, and quite a lot of conversation as well. But let's see if we can just get a bit of the sound clip from what happened at Liverpool, and then we go straight into some of those other activities as well. Okay, so with bless this is one of the so many audio from Liverpool. Let's hear that. And that was part of the activities as well. And the also beauty, for those that might not know, because I also paid a visit, to the International Slavery Museum, and when I got inside, you could feel the energy. Let us remember that Liverpool played a very high role during the slavery that came out from West Africa, whether it was Ghana or Nigeria, and that started in 1750 until the abolition of it in 1807. I was able to see the two out of so many ships that were used. Two of them are still intact, kept somewhere very close to the Museum of Liverpool, and also I felt a lot of energy around that area to think about, the kind of atrocity that a lot of our forefathers must have gone through, when they were being taken away. And some of them were also sold. When I watched, saw the replica of Jean that must have been given to some of our leaders then, while they were, being sold out as slaves as well. So those are also part of the other activities that I was able to witness. You could see from the seaside, and that led all the way to the Atlantic Ocean in somewhere in Lagos State, where eventually at the point of no return in Badagry, so many slaves were taken out of that region as well. So Liverpool played that very huge role during that time as well, and likewise so many other activities as well. So that was the whole event of Liverpool. But we'll still continue to review. Also, I did saw how slaves were being put together, tied up, with so many things, to watch and see in put on display, at that particular event that the International Slave Trade Museum that I also attended as well. So quite a lot. But tomorrow, in New York, the whole event of the 1 million march is going to be starting tomorrow. Also in Canada, that is also going to be coming up as well, and then coming up to London in October 1st as well. So I'm just trying to see if I can pick up one of the captions from the slave trade that I picked up, and then we will bring the broadcast to an end. Once again, let me see if I can quickly bring that. I saw quite a lot of images from Ghana as well, and especially, like I said, those transatlantic trade, slave trade, mostly came from south west of Africa as well. Let's see if we can pull this out, some of the write-up there, just to remind us as well. Conditions on the slave ships were horrific. The journey took 5 weeks or more, and the enslaved, okay, sorry, there's a bit of noise coming out, sorry about that, and the enslaved Africans were held in cramped, airless space below decks. Food and water was limited, with no fresh provisions available. This exhibit represents the journey of 3 slave ships sailing out of Liverpool in 1788, based on the document illustrated. And that document I've got here says, Brooks, the journey of the Brooks took 49 days. 19 Africans died during this voyage. 5 women, 10 men, 1 girl, and 3 boys. According to Brooks, the main daily ration for each African on board the Brooks was about half a 680 grams of beans, 57 grams of bread, 227 grams of yams. So you can see that yams, like Frank was saying, has been something that has been eaten for a very long time. 28 grams of dry fish, 8 pints, which is about 4.5 liters of water. And the last one says there were 355 enslaved African men on the Brooks. When I say Brooks, that is the ship. The men's room were measured at 14-meter length by 7.7 meter breadth. And I think that will be from me. Let me come back again to you in the studio. I might see maybe you want to talk on that, and then we can just wind it down finally.
I think that's a comprehensive update that you give it, but probably tomorrow we'll have a look at it because we actually ran out of time now. Yes, exactly. So let me say, Yomi, thank you very much for this wonderful update.
Thank you very much. For the rest of you, make sure you stay tuned as Frank and Archie will take you through the rest of the segment this morning. I'll be back again same time tomorrow at 11 o'clock. It is still your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. My name is Olayomi. Have a very good morning. Bye for now.
Bye. Well, listeners, that was Mr. Olayomi for you, bringing you updates from Nigeria. And his recent travel to Liverpool and to the slave museum as well. So wherever you are, yes.
And his recent travel to Liverpool and to the slave museum as well. So wherever you are.